coming to you from Las Vegas. This is known as Warzone Live, Monday through Friday, now at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Great to be with you. All kinds of things happening. Economic issues are my number one thing. Border issues are my number one thing. DEI issues are my number one thing. We had Don Trump Jr. yesterday, and we finish up with Laura Trump today. Laura, Wayne Allyn, how are you? We got a big guest and a great interview today with Dr. Oz with us right now.
Good to see you. I like your tie, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Great to see you. Always great to have you on the show.
Wayne Allyn Root, happy to see you again on the cutting edge of things on your show, whether it's medical, political, you name it, you're on top of it. So just great to hear that. Great to hear that.
So wonderful to be with you again, Wayne. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be with you tonight.
It's great to see you, Wayne. How you been?
Anytime, Wayne. Great to see you.
Hey, Wayne. Great to see you, brother.
Hey, Wayne. Good to be with you.
Wayne, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Lots going on.
Doing great, Wayne. Glad to be here.
Well, thanks, Wayne. I don't see myself as a hero. I'm just trying to keep this community safe.
This is The War Zone, the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. 2.5 million unique daily readers. Also on Rumble under Wayne Allyn Root, or Warzone. Then on weekends, we got our big show, America's Top 10 Countdown on Real America's Voice TV. While everybody else is giving opinions, I give solutions. And some of them Trump takes, some of them he doesn't. I wish he'd take all of them. This is the Mainstream media. No more mainstream media allowed in. Only Mainstream media, meaning raw truth and in-your-face mother trucker information. The Root's on fire. Welcome to my show, Warzone Live. Monday through Friday, official podcast, The Gateway Pundit. 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific.
Warning! The Root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Wayne Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star. Direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, we're back. Wayne Allyn Roots with Warzone Live. Hard to keep track of which show it is. There's so many shows. And from my end, they all look alike and seem alike, right? It's just me ranting against the evils of Dr. Fauci. The evil Dr. No. He's Dr. Evil and he's Dr. No. Hey, Fauci, do you murder people? I take the fifth. Are you part of the mafia? I take the fifth. Are you a Gambino soldier? I take the fifth. Who has ever taken the fifth in the history of Congress other than mobsters the way Dr. Fauci took the fifth today? But I'm telling you right now, I'll get into all of that throughout the show, the things he said, the things he did, the things he's charged with. But I want to read you my column that I wrote this morning while the hearings were going on because I knew that the Republicans in the Senate would not ask Fauci the correct questions. Why isn't Wayne Root there to ask the right questions? The title is, Why Isn't Dr. Fauci on Trial for Fraud, Mass Murder, and Crimes Against Humanity? I would have loved to have asked him that question. Don't you realize you're a mass murdering Mengele? That's what I would have asked him. But more importantly, why was Dr. Fauci pardoned by Democrats? I would have asked him that. Why was a doctor pardoned? Are you a mass murderer? Is that why you were pardoned? Or is it to protect his biggest crime, the stolen 2020 election? That's right. I've connected the dots that no one else has for years now. And now I've put it all in writing for you. But I've covered this on TV and radio. You're not connecting the dots. The GOP Senate isn't connecting the dots. Even President Donald J. Trump isn't connecting the dots. Dr. Fauci was the centerpiece of the 2020 stolen presidential election. Fauci and China and the Communist Party of China and the Deep State and the Democrat Party are all connected. This was the biggest conspiracy in world history. But it wasn't intended to turn into mass murder. This is my gut. The purposeful and planned COVID pandemic, first and foremost, was all about stealing the 2020 election. That's the real crime. That's the foundation of these crimes against humanity. The millions of dead, injured, and disabled in America and around the world are just a side effect of this scheme and scam. The point wasn't to murder millions. It was to destroy Trump's economy, cause crisis and chaos, and scare everyone with lockdowns, arrests, masks, and social distancing, which then opened the door for mail-in ballots, ballot harvesting, ballot drop boxes with no voter ID in order to defeat Trump and steal his presidency. The key piece of evidence is the pardon. Why did Biden and his boss, the real president, Obama, pardon a doctor? I understand why they pardoned a whole bunch of crooked Democrat politicians. That's called politics. That's called business as usual. But why pardon a doctor? Why give him a blanket pardon even though he was not charged with a single crime at that point? What were they so afraid of? Even if Dr. Fauci did fund COVID, even if he is the, quote, father of COVID, even if we didn't need lockdowns or masks or social distancing or untested deadly vaccines, even if the economy was ruined and millions of Americans lost their jobs, even if millions of Americans died from a vaccine that was promoted as safe and effective, so what? Why were Democrats so desperate to pardon Fauci? What's this got to do with them? The answer is everything. Why would Biden and his boss Obama care? This wasn't their problem. They could pin it all on Fauci and let him take the fall. This wasn't politics. This was healthcare related and medical malpractice, right? It had nothing to do with the Democrat Party, right? So why pardon Dr. Fauci? The answer is because it had everything to do with the Democrat Party and the stolen 2020 election. What if this wasn't malpractice by a lone wolf medical quack? What if it was politics all along? What if it was a conspiracy involving Fauci working in concert with China, the CCP, the deep state, the Democrat Party leadership to destroy Trump, scare the nation into compliance, and steal the presidency? Dr. Fauci knows where all the bodies are buried. He can place Democrats at the scene of the crime. I'm guessing no one planned for millions to die. They planned to make hundreds of billions of dollars off of COVID and defeat Trump and steal the 2020 election, and then once in control of the presidency, make hundreds of billions more doling out government contracts for 4 years. But along the way, millions died from COVID, and millions more died from the vaccine gone wrong. It all spiraled out of control, hence the desperate cover-up and the mass censorship. Fauci is the key to all of it. If he spills his guts, everyone hangs. Therefore, Democrats granted him the blanket pardon in order to protect the biggest election conspiracy in world history, which spiraled out of control into mass murder. Sure, this is about Dr. Fauci's litany of medical crimes. Fauci funded and literally invented the COVID pandemic that killed millions. Fauci shut down the nation with a lockdown that was never necessary. Fauci mandated masks even though he knew masks do nothing. Fauci invented and mandated social distancing out of thin air, even though it had zero purpose. Fauci demonized the one drug that worked effectively and cheaply versus COVID, ivermectin. Millions died because of this fraud alone. I personally beat COVID in 48 hours with ivermectin and never missed 1 hour of TV or radio. Ivermectin instantly turned my bout with COVID into a mild cold. Yet Fauci demonized ivermectin as a drug for horses, pigs, and cows to keep anyone from trying it, and then he forced pharmacies to refuse doctors' prescriptions while Americans were sick and every hour mattered. By blocking the use of ivermectin, Fauci made himself and his friends in Big Pharma hundreds of billions of dollars with the COVID vaccine because it was granted emergency use authorization. This also allowed Fauci to mandate remdesivir as the official drug to treat COVID in hospitals, even though it killed thousands of patients. Remdesivir is so deadly, nurses across America nicknamed it Run, Death is Near. Remdesivir, Run, Death is Near. Fauci also demanded schools be shut down, retarding children's education, even though studies showed not one child in all of America ever died of COVID, ever, unless they had childhood cancer. And we now know that from Fauci's own diaries, that he got a serious blood clot in his lung after getting the COVID vaccine. Yet he covered up his life-threatening illness because blood clots were and are a side effect of the COVID vaccine. He had to hide that. The crimes go on, and so do the questions. Why isn't Dr. Fauci on trial for his life? If found guilty, this evil monster deserves the death penalty for fraud, mass murder, and crimes against humanity. Why was Fauci pardoned? Why were Senate Democrats today so desperate to protect Fauci at the Senate hearing. Why did he take the fifth to every question? What does Fauci know that poses such a threat to Democrats? Yes, Fauci received a federal pardon, but if it was an auto pen, can it be revoked? Can a blanket pardon be legal when no crime has yet been charged? Even if the pardon is proved legal, Fauci could still be indicted and prosecuted on the state level by Republican attorney generals. Why isn't that happening? Millions died because of Fauci's funding of COVID. Millions more died because of the untested vaccine mandated under Fauci and Biden. Fauci's guilty of mass murder and crimes against humanity on a scale of a Hitler and a Joseph Mengele. But I'm betting that's not the main reason for this Democrat cover-up. The real crime they're so afraid of is the stolen 2020 election. It's all tied together. Fauci is the key. Fauci knows where all the bodies are buried. He could bring the whole Democrat Party and the entire deep state down. The right questions weren't asked at the U.S. Senate hearing today. It's all about the pardon and the stolen election. Connect the dots. Excuse me. So, interesting to note, my voice is just dying from talking too much. It's interesting to note that I've written column after column accusing Fauci of mass murder and crimes against humanity. And I've written column after column recommending and asking and demanding and urging Republican AGs to indict Fauci. And I've never seen one of them mention a word about it. And then today, the dam broke. And I didn't know that before I wrote this column. I just downloaded these articles moments ago. But Congresswoman Paulina Luna calls on state attorney generals to bring charges against Dr. Mengele. She used the same thing I did. Mengele Fauci for crimes against humanity. And breaking news, Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer launches state-level investigation into Anthony Fauci. It's past time we get the truth. So there you have it. There you have it. My idea. This has gone on for months. I've recommended this. Why can't we indict him on the state level? I kept saying it and saying it and saying it. And at some point in the hearing, Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio asked Fauci to turn around and look at the people behind him that he hurt. And he asked people to stand up in his Ohio district or his Ohio state who knew people they loved in their family who'd been killed by the COVID vaccine. And Fauci refused to turn around. This is one of the most evil human beings the world has ever known. At another point, Senator Rand Paul removed Fauci's unruly attorney from the hearing, and the audience broke out in applause. Rand Paul announces moments ago a vote to hold Dr. Fauci in contempt of Congress. Senator Tommy Tuberville explodes at the Fauci hearing. He says he should be locked up before he leaves this building. Today, he killed people. No one's saying he killed millions because they're all too stupid, too dense, too delusional to understand how many millions died from the COVID vaccine. But it's all good news. HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. responds to Fauci's disgraceful performance at the hearing with a brutal meme. I'll get to that a little later in the show. Bernie Moreno drops the F-bomb in the Senate hearing. Who the F do you think you are? The 5 most shocking moments from Anthony Fauci's Senate COVID testimony. Number 1, Fauci took the fifth 111 times, including on CIA funding of his government medical agency. Fauci's attorney ejected from the hearing. That's the second most explosive moment. Republicans unload on Fauci for the pandemic failures. Who the F do you think you are? Fauci enlisted his staff to solicit millions of dollars in prize money. Josh Hawley, senator from Missouri, said you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally, cash prizes totaling over $1 million. And then Senator Joni Ernst exposed disgusting research on aborted baby parts. And then a totally separate issue, Fauci's own diary reveals collusion with Obama to debunk the Beagle torture program. I've told you for years now that Fauci is a Mengele, Fauci's a Hitler, Fauci's a Stalin, Fauci's a Pol Pot. He's a mass murdering Dr. Evil piece of crap that needs to get the death penalty. And I told you it all started with him torturing and murdering dogs, beagles. Unbelievable. All right, let me promote something before we go to break, which is my TV show, America Speaks. Your favorite national conservative TV host, that's me, Wayne Allyn Root, who just happens to be your Vegas hometown hero if you're in Vegas. Guess what? I'm hosting my TV show in Vegas in front of a live TV audience for the first time ever in my life. I've never hosted a live TV show in front of a live audience. America Speaks is my brand new TV call-in show on Real America's Voice TV, and I want to hear your opinions, comments, and questions asked live on national TV. And you get to watch 2 shows for the price of none. The cost is free, $0, to watch Eric Bolling's show, Main Street America, back-to-back with my show, America Speaks, live in Las Vegas. Friday, August 7th at the Allyn Hotel on Sahara, just west of the Strip, starting at 1 p.m. Vegas time, Bowling show. Then at 2 p.m., my show, America Speaks. Reserve your spot now. You can go to rootforamerica.com right at the top. You click and it shows you how to reserve your spot. Or go to eventbrite.com, and search for Wayne Allyn Root. It pops right up. Admission is free, but you need to reserve your spot today. Seating is limited. VIP tickets are available for $10. Real America's Voice brings 2 national conservative superstars, Eric Bolling and Wayne Allyn Root, to Vegas live, and you're in the audience at the Allyn Hotel. Go to rootforamerica.com or eventbrite.com right now. We'll be right back. More with Warzone Live. Lots more news to talk about. All right, one of my favorite guests ever, Alan Pariser's with us, an advocate for GreatPatriotStore.com. He's been a customer for 36 years, almost 4 decades. My wife and I, Cindy, do much of our monthly shopping now at GreatPatriotStore.com. It's an alternative to wokeness. It's run by pro-American conservatives. USA Today voted it one of the best stores in America in 2025. And with all these communists taking over, Alan Pariser, New York, Seattle, Chicago, promising cheap government groceries or free, you need to buy American. Tell us why.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of our competitors have completely lost it. They've gone totally woke over the years, but our founding axiom is really very simple. For 41 years, we've been focused on manufacturing exceptional products at reasonable prices, made by Americans, here in America, for Americans. And we've expanded. We have manufacturing plants across the United States, distribution plants across the United States. And not only can Americans get the best quality, the best price from Great Patriot Store, in most cases, we can deliver to your front door even faster than Amazon.
So prices are high everywhere. Procter & Gamble and Amazon are considering price increases. How do the prices at Great Patriot Store compare to national brands?
Well, we've got hundreds of products, Wayne, but if you just take a look at one like our laundry detergent, we make it, it's patented, and it's literally almost fractions, almost half the price of our competitors, and you get 96 loads of wash. It's the best value. There's no toxic chemicals in any of our products whatsoever. And if you're looking to lose some of those holiday pounds, you don't need the shots with the LPG-1 drugs. We have something called berberine. Nature's Ozempic is what people are calling it. It's legit, it works, and we've got it at a better price than any of our competitors.
All right, we've got just seconds to go, so be quick. I love your beef. I eat your sirloin and your New York steak all the time. It's kind of breakfast and lunch for me all the time. Why is your beef superior?
Made in America, never, ever any hormones, ever any antibiotics, no mRNA. It's all prime. It's the best quality that you can find at the best price, free shipping, and it's the best beef on the planet.
All right, to get your free gift, that's right, a free gift, purchase the beef and other great American products. You got to be a member. Go to greatpatriotstore.com, fill out the form. One of their conservative team members will contact you right away. Greatpatriotstore.com. Happy New Year. Thank you, Allyn.
Thank you, Wayne. God bless.
All right, it's interesting because I'm from the streets of New York, and I'm a nice guy, but I use the F word all the time. And now in a Senate hearing, they use the F word. Who the F do you think you are? Now President Trump says the United States will beat the effing crap, I'll say crap instead of SH, you know what, out of Iran after surprise missile attack. Everyone's openly using the F word now. I still can't do it because whether it's TV or podcast, you get kicked off the air. This podcast is simulcast with my radio show. You can't use the F word, but everyone uses the F word now. You need it for emphasis sometimes, and everyone has started using it. I would use it for Massachusetts lawmakers create a DEI hiring program to give Muslims priority for state jobs. What the F are you people talking about? Are you insane? Who the hell gives preference to Muslims? Oh my God, it's insanity. All right, before I get to my guest, my whole show today so far has been about Dr. Fauci and the crimes. I believe Dr. Evil, sometimes now known as Dr. No, because all he says is no, I can't talk. No, I can't talk. I believe he's guilty of so many federal level, literally death penalty worthy crimes. I think this guy should be on trial for his life. And we got a guest to talk about it. But let's talk about Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, the sponsor of this segment. The golden age of Trump prosperity is all about making America the energy capital of the world. Enter Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, headed by oil and gas legend Mark Bruner, whose companies have created more than $15 billion in shareholder value. At its peak, his company Pinnacle Energy grew about 100 to 1 for investors. Ultra Petroleum soared 1,000 to 1. A $10,000 investment turned into $13 million over 10 years with his public company Ultra Petroleum. Can you imagine? It was, I don't know, I think it was like 20 or 30 cents a share, and it went to $200 a share. So a $10,000 investment turned into $13 million. He expects this company, Lost Soldier, to be public in the next 3 years. And he says it could be bigger than Ultra Petroleum ever was, and he believes it could be the largest gas discovery in the United States in 100 years. To learn more about Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, go to lostsoldier.com. Fill out the contact form, lostsoldier.com. They'll get right back to you, lostsoldier.com. And why do I talk about it? Because I only talk about things I believe in, and I believe in it, and I've put serious money, a huge piece of my entire net worth is in this project. I believe in it. I'm not a principal. I'm just an investor like you would be if you go to lostsoldier.com. But I am a big-time investor in Lost Soldier. All right, the guest is Dr. Michael Schwartz, research doctor who owns medical clinics in New Jersey and Florida. He's the best-selling author of Fauci's Fiction, the book on COVID, and Vaccine Fiction. The truth leaks out in small doses. Dr. Michael Schwartz, welcome back to the show. Wayne Root here. How are you?
Got no audio, guys. Can you hear me?
No audio. I hear you. Why do we have no audio? Not only does he have no audio, Daniel, but I am getting feedback, so I don't know what the deal with that is. But all right, Dr. Schwartz, can you hear me yet?
I got you. How you doing, my friend?
Me. Okay, good. I'm doing great. Welcome back to the show. Today was a big day, Fauci testifying, and I must say, I'm sure it's happened before, but I'm not aware of it. Other than the mafia, other than organized crime, mafia gangsters, I've never seen anyone take the fifth 111 times. So that says all you need to say right there.
Well, I mean, the guy's never met a camera he didn't like until today. And that's kind of I shouldn't say it's a funny thing, but reading through those diaries, and we were always wondering, is it money? What is it? What is the motive? It was fame. It was vanity the whole time, Wayne. Hanging out with Julia Roberts, hanging out with Joan Baez, Barbara Streisand, and now, of course, he wants to get quiet. In civil law, you can construe that taking the fifth, that the jury's allowed to construe that there might be some guilt from that, but in criminal law, you can't. I don't know what the public makes of today's hearings. Of course, you kind of see the diversity, the dichotomy on both sides. People on the left want to defend him. Our side wants to come at him. But I like the fact, at least, that Rand Paul, Josh Hawley, and all these folks use this as a platform to maybe let people know that there's stuff there that you haven't heard all these years.
Yeah, and I've been on this case for a long time. I mean, I consider it mass murder and crimes against humanity long before I knew that he's the one that was the architect and some would say the father of COVID. He brought it here. I believe he brought it here not to mass murder people, but to steal the 2020 election in cahoots with China, the Chinese Communist Party, and the Democrat Party. And I've said that for a long time. But I don't think anyone intended to mass murder people. I think they only intended to steal the election. And then the side effect was a lot of people died, but they were trying to make a lot of money and they were trying to steal an election. He was trying to get fame, too, as you just very well pointed out. He's a fame whore. I've told the people yesterday that if I were doing my best Fauci impression, it would be me standing in front of a mirror and I'd be going, 20,000 people died of COVID today, but I was on CNN. This guy's sick in the head. He's a monster. But I have said for months and months and months now, you can't indict him if he has a pardon on the federal level, maybe, assuming you can't break the auto pen. And you can't break the idea that no one should get a blanket pardon if they haven't been accused of anything yet. But if you can't break it and he really does have a pardon, then state attorney generals, like 20 of them, should all sue him at the same time. Ruin his life. And today, that was the first time I heard Congresswoman Paulina Luna say the same thing. State attorney generals have to indict him. And the Florida attorney general announced he's investigating Fauci right now. So the dam is breaking.
And if that's what we get out of the hearings, and that's great. And I heard you saying that earlier when I did have audio, and I think that's fantastic. I mean, I'm watching these hearings today. I didn't expect much out of him. What I'm getting out of the diaries, though, is that he knew a lot of what I knew. And I said that for the longest time, Wayne. I'm going, if I have this data, I was the first guy in New Jersey, as you know, to do COVID testing. We did 44,000 tests, 19,000 patients. A month in, I'm realizing the mortality rate of this thing is going to be 0.01 to 0.02%, that of the flu. And we're all sitting around my office wondering, how does this guy not know that? Turns out he did. But they neglected to tell you that because they wanted to keep this charade going. And whether or not COVID was released, I said to an audience today, I said, you know what, Wayne, I don't know if these guys are smart enough to do that. But the old page from Saul Alinsky's book, Never Let a Crisis Go to Waste, they sure as shit did that. That is exactly what they did. They took this crisis. They wanted to ruin Donald Trump's presidency. He wanted to continue this for fame, and he killed more people along the process than most people even know. That vaccine, that shot, I won't even call it a vaccine because it's not what you say to somebody 70, right, 80, 90s who thinks that it's giving you lifetime inoculation. That shot did more damage to the world and is still doing damage. This man should be in jail. So you wrote a book about these same issues in 2023. You called it Fauci's Fiction. How does everything that you heard in the hearing today, well, you didn't hear much in the hearing, you heard it from the Republican side, but you didn't hear a word from Fauci. But how does everything recently released, including Fauci's supposed diaries, how does that align with what you revealed in your book 3 years ago? So ironically, as people, you know, that know this book, the book's not about Fauci. The book's about the real data. The book's about what we saw, our perspective from testing on the ground and treating for all these years. The book is about the story of our 19,000 patients. And when you understand the data as we did early on, it does not make Fauci look good. The book tells you exactly what you're learning now, that the mortality rate was that of the flu, that we shouldn't have locked down, that masks don't work. We don't wear masks for viruses. And now you got vaccine fiction, which which is the follow-up up on the screen, that book tells you the follow-up story. That book, I did a multitude of interviews with people above my pay grade so that we can understand how VAERS works, how the shots were manufactured. I talked to Richard Hirschman, who's an embalmer. He was made famous in the movie Died Suddenly, to talk about what embalmers are seeing post-shot. There's so much to this story. And Fauci, it turns out, knew a lot of what we knew back in 2020. I published this 3 years ago and 2 years ago, respectively, both books. And now this is like new news to people. That is what's shocking to me. I wish people had known what we knew, or I should say, I wish the media and the government would have let you know what we were trying to tell you all those years ago, so we didn't have to go through this exercise.
Well, I can tell you right now, Michael, they're gaming the system. I know they gamed the economy. They lied about jobs. They lied about GDP. They lied about everything you could possibly lie about. They lied about inflation under Joe Biden massively. And now I think they're lying about excess deaths. I know for a fact that excess deaths were the highest in history after the COVID vaccine for several years, 2021, 22, and 23. But they just announced last year was the lowest death rate in history, excess death rate. And I think that's a total lie. They're gaming the system. They gamed the system, by the way, over deaths from the COVID vaccine. They claimed there were no raised deaths from the COVID vaccine. Lies. They claim military didn't have horrible deaths and injuries from the COVID vaccine. Lies. So now they're saying excess deaths were way down, or maybe they say just deaths were very low last year. I can tell you that just in my circle of friends, and yes, I've got more than 99% of the people, I've got 6,000 friends in this phone. 6,000. But I'm telling you, hundreds of them got the vaccine and they're all sick. They're not all dead, but they're all sick and they all blame the vaccine. They all know that the problem started right after they got vaccinated. So to say that last year was the lowest deaths in history, when I look every day, a new Hollywood star dies, and they all have the side effects of the COVID vaccine. They're dying from heart attacks, strokes, turbo cancer, blood clots, etc. Lou Gehrig's disease, a huge marker from this vaccine. Lou Gehrig's disease. So many people have ALS now. It's not possible that the death rate was the lowest in history last year. That has to be a lie. They have to be gaming the numbers.
Well, there's a lot of lies to break down there. I mean, let's start with COVID as itself. You know, they keep pointing to all these numbers and VAERS, but what they don't tell you is that most of the folks who died during COVID were dying with a bacterial co-infection that they weren't looking for. We have that data. We actually have the largest amount of horizontal data in the country because we were the only ones looking at it the way we did. So when you look at a data set comparable to ours, there just isn't any. We looked at CT value, we looked at co-infection, comorbidity, and we recorded symptomology. So we actually have much better numbers about deaths during COVID or illness during COVID than anybody else. But when it comes to the shots, what we saw, Wayne, right off the bat, we saw that it inflamed areas of instability. If you had a joint issue that was going to happen at 40, now it was exhibiting itself at 20. If you had a heart issue that would exhibit itself at, 70, genetically, now it was coming out at 40 or 50. That's right. What we saw. We saw these mRNA shots speed up areas of instability, which might explain what you were talking about, because you're right. The deaths are underreported. And when you look at VAERS, which is what they report, what they look at, government numbers, only less than 1% of what's out there makes it into VAERS, and Harvard agrees with me.
Harvard's study proved that it's 1%. So VAERS shows, I think, something like 40,000 deaths from the COVID vaccine. Multiply 40,000 deaths times 100, and you get 400,000 deaths.
Well, you get 4 million. And
my math's wrong. 4 million. Okay, got it. 4 million, right? Yeah, 10 would be 400,000. 100 would be 4 million. And so the numbers are staggering. But let's make believe that's not true. Let's make believe it's the only time it wasn't only 1% reported. Let's say there are only 40,000 deaths from the COVID vaccine. When we had the swine flu in the 1970s, I think it was 77.
Right, two deaths, right?
25 people died, and they canceled the whole vaccine program. Yeah. How could a doctor allow 40,000 people to die and not cancel the vaccine program?
They whitewash everything. And I had epidemiologist on my show, Nick Holscher, who is part of the McCullough Foundation. He was saying those numbers might be a little skewed. It's probably more like 600,000. But then even if it is, think about that. 600,000, that's in the U.S. alone. Worldwide, we're talking about more like 15 million.
Yes,
only
I saw
15 million.
I saw experts who are analysts and great with math. They said 17 million have died worldwide from the COVID vaccine. And I would say that's right in the ballpark.
Yeah, it's about what we're analyzing and with our numbers. But I mean, and look, you're right. I mean, if it's 2 deaths or 25 deaths, they'll shut down an entire program. Here we have even a reported 40, 50,000, and they say, it's a drop in the bucket because of the lives it saved. Let me tell you something, and I think I've said this before on your show. We didn't recommend the shots for 2 distinct reasons when they came out. This is before you saw the issues from it. 1, you didn't need it. I told this to Ron Johnson on the Hill. And 2, it didn't work. So why in good conscience would I or anybody else in my orbit recommend something that you don't need and doesn't work because I'm going to give you this experimental treatment? Then all of a sudden we experiment with it and find out there's a multitude of problems, but we want to cover that up because we want to hang out with Barbara Streisand? I mean, are you kidding me?
Well, and don't forget, with his diaries, what we found out is he had one of those side effects. It was Dr. Fauci who got vaccinated and then got a blood clot in his lung. What is it called? A pulmonary embolism, whatever the word is. And I believe the same thing is true of Lindsey Graham, by the way, just had his funeral just yesterday. Lindsey Graham, I'm telling you, I know he was 71. And I know his father died of heart problems. And so now he's 70 and he's got heart problems. He drops dead. And everyone says, oh, Wayne, it's not the vaccine. He's 70. He was traveling. His father died of the same thing. I'm not denying any of that. It's what you said. It speeds up. Maybe he was going to die at 80, but he died at 71 because he took the vaccine. He bragged about it on TV. He took it on TV. There's a video of him getting the shot. And now he's dead. And I had Dr. McCullough on my show, and he said, absolutely, aortic dissection is one of the side effects of the COVID vaccine. So it could very well be the reason he had it, or it could very well be the reason he was going to get it anyway, but it sped it up.
I said in my first book, and I'll try to put this in perspective, that this probably shortened the lifespan of the entire human populace by 3 to 5 years, and that's a conservative estimate. If you want to go more liberal, maybe 7 to 9 years, because now people are living with things they didn't have before. And one of the chapters in Vaccine Fiction, we interview a lot of nurses, and we talk about what the nurses are seeing now. What's the commonality? What's the thematic approach here? Because that's what you do when you do a study. You want to know the theme. And they're all saying the same thing. We're seeing things we've never seen before. You mentioned some of the turbo cancer. If you use that word, well, I don't like to use that word, Wayne, because it gets censored on all the shows. If I try to repost this later, you know how Facebook is. So, but what we see is we see an abundance of these cancers that have never been seen before. Now you have stories of 26-year-olds going to the hospital for routine testing, finding out something else is wrong and never leaving because they're in stage 4 cancer. It's younger people, it's rare cancers, and it's abundance of that stuff that just didn't exist before the shots.
And don't forget, I read the Daily Mail every day, and it's very hysterical, and it's liberal-leaning, but it's also got some good articles. And it seems like and I know we got to wrap up because you're the one who has to go, but otherwise I keep you for the whole rest of the show. But every single day, Michael, there's a new story about a new disease that young people have that they've never had before, and they blame everything in the world except the COVID vaccine. I think it was today or yesterday, there was a big article, never have doctors seen so many people with Parkinson's disease, and they blame everything except the vaccine. Parkinson's is another offshoot of the COVID vaccine. Yeah. It causes neurological damage.
Isn't it amazing how they want to gaslight that? For so many years, they used to talk about our side gaslighting. Meanwhile, it's them. It's them trying to say, don't look over here, nothing to see here. It can't be that. The data is so stark, and the data was stark from day one. It didn't take us very long to figure this out. And while we were trying to tell folks, we were getting censored from all the mainstream media, from the government. You go back to Jim Jordan uncovering all those emails from the White House asking Amazon. My books were censored. What we have written in here.
Do you know bad I was censored? Do you have any idea how bad? Oh my God.
We're on the same team. And, and it's all of us, Wayne. I mean, if we had just been allowed to speak, but the government was doing it. That First Amendment is there to protect us from government intruding on our First Amendment rights. And it turns out they were doing the same thing by telling Amazon not to let us talk, or Facebook not to let this information out. We could have avoided all of this, the lockdowns, the kids not learning, you name it, the masking. All of this could have been avoided in 1 month of testing and treating. We had the data to tell you that this was a farce.
And I thought the two worst crimes, then I'll let you go. The two single biggest markers in all this are, number one, they wanted the kids to be vaccinated when they knew not one child in the United States ever died of COVID unless they had childhood leukemia. Not one child ever died. No one needed the vaccine. And ivermectin. They knew it worked, but if they allowed it to go through, it's cheap, it doesn't make anyone big money, and they would have never gotten the emergency authorization for the vaccines that made them hundreds of billions of dollars. How many people died because they were not able to take ivermectin because they poisoned it? They said it's for cows and horses and pigs, and they scared people away from it. How many people got sick, could have taken it, could have gone right away, and instead it got worse? They went in the hospital, they gave them remdesivir, and they died. How many people you think died because that alone?
I mean, we were treating it wrong in the beginning. We didn't know. Flu protocol flared it up. There's a lot there to unpack. We would need another full hour. But doctors always should have a right to try. And you shouldn't have these people in the government, especially. Government and politics should never mix. Government or politics and medicine should never mix.
Yeah.
That my wife says that all the time. She's a nurse practitioner. I've been saying it for the last 6 years. And that's what we saw destroy this country.
All right, Michael Schwartz, Dr. Michael Schwartz, research doctor, owns medical clinics in New Jersey and Florida, best-selling author of Fauci's Fiction, the book on COVID, and Vaccine Fiction, The Truth Leaks Out in Small Doses. Boy, do you and I look good today after the organized crime mafia figure, Dr. Fauci, the new Gambino of 2026, took the fifth 111 times. How
Crazy.
Disgusting, how disgraceful. Dr. Schwartz, thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you, Wayne. I hope to see you soon.
God bless. All right, we'll be right back right here on War Zone Live. All right, Wayne Allyn Root, Dan Montano is with me. He's the CEO of Zicha Genesis Medicine, a biotech company developing medicines to treat Parkinson's, type 2 diabetes, and even heart disease. And now Zicha has a new breakthrough, exciting, to potentially reverse chronic pain. Dan, tell us about your breakthrough that could lessen or eliminate the pain for people suffering from neuropathy, back pain, or migraine headaches.
Very simple. As we've been dosing people for those other indications, they keep reporting to us the pain in their feet is gone. The pain in their back is gone. Their migraines have stopped. So as we started digging into it more over the last couple of months, we've discovered that nerve regeneration is something our molecule can treat. And we're starting to see people that we dose on Monday and Thursday, their back pain's gone. Their migraines have stopped. So we're now taking that to a medical research study here in Las Vegas.
Big one for me would be neuropathy, foot pain, because I have several friends who have lived wonderful lives, successful, they're CEOs, and they could barely walk anymore because of neuropathy. What have you done for that?
Well, the people we've dosed for their diabetes have reported after a week or two that they don't have the pain anymore. So we're going to run with that and find out how much of that is true and how much of that we can repeat.
Amazing. What are your next steps?
Well, we're going to be getting a clearance here in Las Vegas to do a medical research study. We'll be doing it primarily for back pain, neuropathy, and headaches, migraine headaches primarily. We'll have that approval probably in 30 to 60 days and start dosing people here in Vegas.
And you're looking for test patients and investors, correct?
Same as with the type 2 diabetes. As you know, Wayne, you guys generate a lot of subjects for us to test, and you also produce a lot of investors for us. So we're looking for the same. Chronic back pain is everywhere. People have got it. It's serious, and we've been able to alleviate it. I'm excited. This could be the biggest thing around.
Dan, why is your approach to treating pain different?
Well, first of all, we don't camouflage the pain. We treat the nerve that is sick. We heal the nerves. With this white paper, which is on the website, curewar.com, is phenomenal. Everybody should be downloading that and reading this, like a science fiction novel on how your nerves regenerate. That's how we do it. On the nerves.
Dan Montano is the CEO of Zicha Genesis Medicine, the website cure-war.com, looking for test subjects and investors, cure-war.com. right, Steve Bannon saw my article on Dr. Fauci. Wants me on Bannon War Room coming up at 5:15 East Coast time, so in about a half hour. I'll be on Bannon talking about this very topic. But I thought it was interesting. I mentioned this a little while ago at the start of my interview. Trump says the U.S. will beat the effing you-know-what out of Iran after a surprise missile attack on a United States base. I could have told Trump, I'm telling you, man, Iran is disgusting. They are the new Nazis. You cannot believe a word they say. You cannot trust anything they agree to. You've got to kill them. They've got to be wiped off the face of the earth. Now, before anyone misquotes me on the left, I don't mean the country. I don't mean every civilian. I mean the leadership. The civilians are tortured just like we are by these people. But for those who think it's no big deal, we shouldn't have been in Iran. These people, if they ever got a nuclear weapon, do you understand what they would do with it? First thing they would do is they wouldn't threaten the world and hold the world hostage. The first thing they would do is they would send a nuke towards Israel. And the first thing Israel would do in response is they would nuke Iran. So then the entire world's involved in a massive nuclear conflagration. You don't think maybe Trump avoided all that by attacking Iran? I think he did, by stopping Iran from ever getting a nuke. He may have saved the world. And certainly think about Chamberlain in World War II. Neville Chamberlain, he was the leader of England before Winston Churchill, my hero. Winston Churchill saved the world by fighting World War II, by not giving up. Never give up hope. Fight, fight, fight. He was like the first Trump. Fight, fight, fight. If you had shot Winston Churchill's ear, he would have gotten up and said, fight, fight, fight. He would never give up. The only difference in him and Trump is he's kind of a fat guy, and he was not good looking. And so he's not a telegenic guy. He was never a telegenic guy like Trump is. But a great speaker, a great orator, a guy who kept World War II alive with his speeches. But before Winston Churchill came Neville Chamberlain. And Chamberlain, instead of fighting Hitler, gave in to Hitler on everything and signed a peace agreement with him. And Hitler ignored everything that he signed. These are the new Nazis. And Neville Chamberlain, because of that, if he had actually stopped Hitler at that point early, if he had, and we don't know if he could have, maybe England would have lost and it wouldn't have mattered. But if he had stopped Hitler, he would have saved the world. How many tens of millions of deaths? How many billions of dollars? In today's terms, would be trillions of dollars. I mean, it must be the most money ever spent in the history of the world times 10. In today's terms, it's got to be like, I don't know, $100 trillion wasted on World War II. What if we had nipped it in the bud early to start it? That's what I think Trump is doing here, because Iran is the Nazis of modern day times. And they sign an agreement and the next day they bomb you. They don't care about anything. Their word means nothing. They're murderers. They kill women. They kill children. They rape girls. Every prisoner, every female prisoner gets raped. Do you know why they rape them? They rape them on purpose, not just because they have sexual desires for them. Do you know why they rape them? Did you know this? These Iranian religious fanatic nutjobs actually believe that if a woman's a virgin, even if they kill her, she'll go right to heaven. And they don't want her to go to heaven, so they rape her. They gang rape her. 50 men rape her. She's no longer a virgin. She can't go to heaven. They make sure that when they kill you, you can never go to heaven. I guess they think you're going to hell. These are sick, sick people, man. So they've got to be killed. They've got to be stamped out. They've got to be wiped off the face of the earth. And I'm no warmonger. I don't want war. I don't want my kids in war. I don't want your kids in war. But sometimes there's no choice. I'll tell you what I do want. I think it's a mistake we don't have a national draft. I think every kid, rich and poor, should spend 2 years in the military and learn about, America and freedom and how you got to fight for freedom. I think most of those kids would come out Republican. I think it'd be a good thing to have a national draft. And I don't mind my kids going. Why not? In Israel, every kid goes. Man, woman, everyone goes for 2 years. I think it's for 3 years, actually, in the military. I would say 2 years, every American kid should go in the military. Serve them well. Teach them some good things. Patar, my director, says discipline. Right, exactly. Get up with a bugle at 5 o'clock in the morning. You'll learn some discipline, all right? But today's kids have no discipline. And today's kids couldn't care less about their country. And today's kids don't know that you have to fight for freedom. The only reason you have it is because someone had to fight and be willing to die for it. So this is a way to teach them. So I think it would be good for the country. But I don't want my kids or your kids to ever have to go to war. But sometimes you have to. So I don't think anyone could say Wayne Root is a warmonger. I happen to think that Iran is the new Hitler and the new Nazis. And you've got to kill them and wipe them off the face of the earth. But I don't think we need wars all over the world. I think this was the one war worth fighting. And then also, showing you not a warmonger, I won the Libertarian presidential, I got the Libertarian presidential ticket. I won the Libertarian vice presidential nomination in the year 2008. And I did it. Oh, let me make sure I tell Steve Bannon, yes, I'll be there. All right. I'll be there. So I won the Libertarian vice presidential nomination, served on the presidential ticket in 2008. And they were very anti-war. They're the most anti-war people around. And I never campaigned on that. I told them I'm not anti-war. I told them I'm not pro-war, but sometimes you have to fight a war. Sometimes you will have no freedom unless you fight a war. And I told them I'm for fighting wars the following way. What George Bush did is stupid. You don't win a war and then occupy a nation and spend trillions rebuilding that nation. You just bomb them, destroy them, and leave. And that's what Trump believes in. And so far, all we've done is bomb them and called a ceasefire and then bombed them again and called a ceasefire and bombed them again. And they broke it again, so we bombed them again. But so far, we haven't landed a single troop. But even if we land troops, which in the end we might have to do, I don't want it, but we might have to, then you beat them and you immediately leave. You do not stay and occupy and rebuild. So I am no George Bush, let me tell you. No W. I learned that lesson, man, and I knew it in 2007 when I campaigned for president of the United States on the Libertarian ticket. And Trump so far is doing exactly what I say. You bomb and bomb and bomb, but try to never land troops. I think he's doing it the right way. I mentioned this earlier. Massachusetts lawmakers create a DEI hiring program to give Muslims priority for state jobs. When did it become the job of lawmakers to do anything like this? And why specifically for Muslims? Does this make sense to anybody? This is absolutely a symbol of everything I say about the Democrat Party. They are mentally ill. They are mentally deranged. There's something wrong with them. They're retarded, and I'm not putting down retarded people because we don't use that word anymore for those people. They're disabled. They're not retarded. I'm putting down Democrats. They get the word retarded now. Look it up at Google. Retard means to end progress, to stop progress, to block progress. That's the Democrat Party. They are retarded. There's something wrong with these people. So they're brainwashed. They're mentally deranged. Or they're suicide bombers, kamikaze suicide bombers like the Japanese in World War II, and they're looking to bomb the United States of America out of existence. Because anybody who believes that you should give first priority in jobs to Muslims is somebody who wants to destroy the United States of America. And when you look at some of the problems we have in this country, I believe all of them relate back to DEI. Basically, over the last 10 years, Democrats have put the wrong people in every position, whether it be government, state government, federal government, colleges, college professors, whether it be the people who attend college, they let him in based on, hey, he's got straight Fs. It's okay, he's black. The military, the people leading the military, look at that general, he's black. He's got 4 stars. Why has he got 4 stars? Must be one impressive guy. No, actually, he's an idiot, but he's black. So they gave him 4 stars. We have destroyed our country's decision-making by putting morons in positions they do not deserve, they are unqualified for. Here's a white moron, John Thune, Rhino John Thune, reveals at least 15 Republican senators are a hard no on nuking the filibuster to pass the Save America Act. Look, I have said it. My election expert, John Goodman, has said it again and again and again. The SAVE Act ain't passing. You've got to pass a national security emergency for elections. The SAVE Act is not going to pass. That ship has sailed. Stop talking about it. Stop trying to hammer them. They're morons. They won't do it. They're bought and sold and owned. All these rhinos are owned by someone, whether it's the nation of China. They're owned. Here's another rhino. Red state governor pummeled online after defying Trump's deportation orders. This is Republican governor of Ohio, DeWine. What's his first name? Mike DeWine. His state is home to about 30,000 Haitian temporary holders, right? Temporary protected status holders. And he told CBS earlier this week that the Haitians shouldn't be sent back to Haiti. He argues that they helped revive Springfield, Ohio. He's defying Trump's deportation orders. He loves the Haitians of Springfield. And I'm a smart guy. You know what this makes me think? His wife, his son, his mom if she's alive, his dad if he's alive, his brother, someone in his family is getting paid off. Someone in his family has a Haitian relocation business. Somebody's supplying them with supplies. Someone's charging quadruple and making a lot of money, like $1 billion or hundreds of millions of dollars. That's the only reason any Republican would fight for a bunch of Haitians and not send them home, is that you're making money on the Haitians. You, as the governor, can't own that business, but your wife can, your father can, your brother can, or your son can. Somebody in Mike DeWine's family is getting rich off Haitians, and that's why they want to keep them in the United States. That's the only reason that they want to keep them, as sure as I'm standing here. House progressives revive Green New Deal for public schools. For public schools. Let's read this article. I haven't read it. I downloaded it. I want to see what this is about. The environmental and social justice movement behind the Green New Deal is back at the forefront of the Democrat agenda, this time targeting Americans' education system. A group of House progressives led by Pramil Jayapal of Washington introduced a bill this week to establish a Green New Deal for public schools. Similar bill introduced 5 years ago by ex-Representative Jamal Bowman entailed investing hundreds of billions of dollars into grants for public schools to make clean energy upgrades while promoting curriculum changes focused on social and environmental equity. There we go. This is how you destroy the United States of America. This is how you bankrupt the United States of America. Just amazing. Do you realize what environmental and social equity mean? First, they're wasting all your money on environmental companies, clean energy companies, green energy companies, climate change companies for something that really doesn't exist. And if it does exist, mankind can't do anything about it. And number two, this equity is the worst word ever used. Equity means DEI. That's all it means, is let's give jobs to lots of people that are poor and minority and black, even if they don't deserve it, even if their grades suck, even if they're dumb. Let's give them important jobs and pay them $150,000 a year. It's a sickness, man. It's a sickness. As we say goodnight, I want to mention two things. First of all, the sponsor of this show, Tangible Investments. How important is its own gold? China's central bank just increased their gold reserves for the 20th consecutive month, and it was the biggest month yet. China's prepared for what's coming. Are you? And buying gold is just not enough. You need to buy at the right price, and this is where buyers get misled. Other gold companies say we charge 1% over cost. But whose cost are they talking about? The real question you need to ask is, what are you charging over spot price? The guys at Tangible sell you gold bullion at just over 1% over spot. Not even over, at just 1% over spot. I saw the word over. It's over spot. 1%, unheard of. They offer silver as low as 3% over spot, unheard of. If you want gold, silver, precious metals, or rare coins from a real firm with real credibility and real integrity and honest pricing, call Tangible Investments toll free 888-330-4351, 888-330-4351, or go to the website they created just for my fans, rootforgold.com, rootforgold.com. They will treat you like a VIP and roll out the red carpet. Thank you, Tangible Investments, rootforgold.com. And then in about 15 minutes, I'll be on Steve Bannon's show, War Room. And in about an hour, my show, America Speaks, starts, and we take your calls. 800-347-ROOT. If you want to talk to Wayne Root, 800-347-ROOT. You can watch, go to the YouTube channel of A Real America's Voice and watch the show at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. And you can call in 800-347-ROOT. If you have no time to do it over the next hour, simply call that same number and leave a voicemail. And I will respond to your voicemail, read it on the air, and respond to it, 800-347-ROOT. You can email me, wayneroot@gmail.com. My website, rootforamerica.com. God bless you. God bless Trump. God bless America. Have a great night. Viva my tax-free Las Vegas. All right, I'm joined by Kip Herridge, my old buddy, and an economic expert, CEO of Vertical Research Advisory. His website, VRAinsider.com. As I've explained on this show so many times, VRA has beaten the market in 19 of the last 22 years since Kip founded the VRA in 2003. Over the last 3 years, VRA had an average gain of 37%. Kip, congratulations on your success. I've seen it firsthand for over 22 years. I've read your newsletter for the last 22 plus years. You're my personal financial expert. How do you guys keep beating the markets almost every year when 90% of Wall Street money managers fail to do so?
Well, thanks, Wayne. You know, I worked in that environment for 15 years, worked at Wall Street 15 years, helped take 7 companies public, raised and managed several $100 million. And I know how the groupthink of Wall Street works, and that's not how people make money. 90% of money managers, as you say, don't beat the markets every year. We do. And the reason really is I had great mentors that helped me to create what we call our VRA investing system. It's our proprietary market timing and sector selection system that tells us when to be in the market, when to be out, when to be aggressive, and when to take some profits, take some money to cash. And that helps us with our sector selection. Again, market timing, those are real keys. And we also love doing individual stock research. So that's where you put our clients and subscribers into, again, ETFs, individual stocks. And we also love Bitcoin and gold, as you know, and silver. In 2003, I recommended gold at $350 an ounce, silver at $5. We recommended Bitcoin at $2,000 in 2017. And combined with those three, we're up over 4,000% in gains for our 40 times your money for our subscribers. So we do things a little differently. 5th and 6th generation native Texans, and we love what we do here in Texas.
Well, I'm a witness to all of it. I've been there for all of it. There's a lot of fear out there today, Kip. What should investors know about the stock market right now?
Yeah, you got to be in this market. That's what investors should know. Look, volatility is the price of admission. It just is. It comes with the territory. But these dips give us great buying opportunities. Look, we've been the most bullish market strategists in America for the last 4 years. We call this the innovation revolution meets the Trump economic miracle meets an absolute ocean of liquidity. Those are our big three. Again, Trump's economic miracle this year is really going to start paying its dues. We expect GDP growth to hit 5% this year. We expect the markets we think this bull market runs into the 2030s.
All right, everyone gets 2 weeks free automatically by going to VRAinsider.com. 2 weeks free. Judge for yourself. VRAinsider.com. Kip Herridge, thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.